Okay, go ahead.
Okay, my first question is what I think about sex. And I think Vidya put it in the plenary very well when she said it's one of the most popular sports in the world. And that is very true because everybody practices it. However, it is also something that leads to pleasure and emotional connection between people. So it really adds to the well-being of humans. It also allows human beings to reproduce themselves, and the most important thing in our lives is to have children. One of the most important things, and that is such a rewarding thing for a person to have children and to propagate their life into the future and to produce somebody who can carry on our legacy and be a global citizen. So that sex is very good, but sex also should happen in a very respectful, protective, and a loving relationship. It should not be coercive. It should happen with consent. It should not be forced on anybody. And often we have sex being used as a weapon of war, and also as a subjugation of men against girls, and sometimes even among men. Young boys can be subjugated by older men or vice versa. Not vice versa, but by different people propagating, forced and negative sexual experiences on others. So sex is pleasurable, sex is good, but sex should happen in a protective, loving, caring relationship for people who are ready for that particular relationship. Yeah. To me, that's how I see sex. It's a very, very good part of human life. It's what we are, who we are. It's part and parcel of a human being. We cannot take sex out of us because sex is what brought us here, and we will continue to keep us here. But it's pleasurable, it's good, it needs to be good, but it needs, as I said, to be happening in the right context and in a loving, caring situation. So, my second question is, who is a youth leader? I think that everybody I see here as a young person is a youth leader already, because they have really shown the world and their countries that they are able to take responsibility for themselves and responsibility for the lives of their fellow young persons, and they are advocating for those young people. So I see a youth leader as a person who's self-regulating, meaning he knows how to manage himself or herself. I see a youth leader, a person who has a high self-esteem and self-efficacy, meaning that they have the confidence that they can do anything that they want to do. Somebody who's always taking responsibility for his or her education, building more from where they are to another level, always learning, always pushing themselves to a different level. I see a youth leader as that person who's taking responsibility for himself, his family, and their protection from HIV, protection from other sexual violence and everything, but also taking responsibility for the society and the community. First, the other young people, and advocating on their behalf. Always finding out what is happening to the young people in my community, in my country, in the Afrique, and always trying to make a difference. That person is a national citizen, a citizen of his community, and is a citizen of Africa, and a global citizen. They know their rights. They know their rights all the time. They try to understand what is my right as a citizen of my country. And they also try to say what are the rights of others. How do I have my right respected? Yes, respected, protected, and fulfilled by the government. What role do I take to make sure that the rights of young people are also respected, protected, and fulfilled by all the stakeholders, starting with the young people themselves, because they have the responsibility to ask the rights to be respected, but they also have the responsibility to make sure that those voiceless young people, the ones in the rural areas, the poor young people, the young girl who's being forced to marry in a rural community, the one who doesn't have an SMS system or doesn't have access to a computer, the one who doesn't have access to education, how do we give them voice as a youth leader? So I see a youth leader that the one who's taking care of himself, bettering himself, but also eternally and all the time working towards bettering other young people in their lives.
Thank you.
You're welcome.